Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, Chapter 4, and Text 8. And this morning, we're very fortunate to have Her Grace Madhavi Gaurangi Mataji from ISKCON Philadelphia to give a class. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and thank you so much again for giving me this wonderful, wonderful opportunity of speaking on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam this morning. This is my great fortune. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, and we're fortunate to have you too. Hare Krishna. It's all yours. Please get started.
Okay. So let's start with the glories of Radha and Krishna with this beautiful and wonderful prayer. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yasho Danandana Braj Janiranjana Yashodanandana Braj Janiranjana Yamuna Tira Vanchari Yamuna Tira Vanchari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Sharad Bihari Radha Sharad Bihari Radhe Jaya Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Jaya Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Jaya Gaurani Taye Jaya Gaurani Taye Jaya Gaurani Taye Jaya Gaurani Taye Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय भक्तिमती तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Gutire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 2, chapter 4, verse 8. Nunam bhagavato brahman harir adbhuta karmanaha durvibhavyam iva bhati kavibhischapi chestitam nunam bhagavato brahman harir adbhuta karmana durvibhavyam iva bhati kavibhischapi chestitam नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणा दुर्विभव्यम् इव भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टिता. Anyone would like to repeat?
Nunam Bhagavatu Brahman Hari Adbhuta Karmana Durvibhavyam Iva Bhati Kavi Bishchapi Chestitam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hopefully somebody else would also like to say the Sanskrit.
Nunam bhagavato brahman hare adbhuta karmana durvibhavyam iva bhati kavibhischapi chestitam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Synonyms. Nunam, still insignificant, insufficient. Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Brahman, O learned Brahmana. Hare, of the Lord. Adbhuta, wonderful. Karmanaha, one who acts. Durvibhayam, inconceivable. Eva, like that. Abhati, appears. Kavibhi, even by the highly learned. Cha, also. Api, in spite of. Chestitam, being endeavored for. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Purport. The acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful. And there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, the remaining three parts consist of the Vaikuntha Jagat or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Madhama or Sanatan Dhama or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the other greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dhama would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with his Dhamma, or in other words, with his eternal name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality, which are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that Lord is also created, but the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayanaha paro vyaktat. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable. And thus, such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends, or how many stars and planets are there, or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over the space. In a news release from Moscow dated 2/21/60, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. Russia's well-known professor of astronomy, Boris Vorontsov Veliaminov, said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with the reason. It could be that life, similar to that on Earth, flourishes on such planet. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zervo, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt itself to normal existence with a low body temperature. He said that he felt that the gaseous composition of Martian atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which have become adapted to it. This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of plants is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Bhinnam, that is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere, and the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers, and Bhinnam means varietedness, varied. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmospheres of other planets. Easy journey to other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to different planet after being relieved of the present body, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitriyanti pitravrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajinopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Sukadev Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world, but that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that even with great effort. The Lord is unlimited, and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being, up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord himself in the unique statements of Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Shukadev Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada. And thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity this morning to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran. Although I'm not eligible, but still, by the mercy of devotees, I get this opportunity. I'm very, very thankful. So, seeking blessings before starting to discuss about today's verse. So, before starting any Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, it's very important to understand its importance. And I always like to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam before starting discussing about the verse which is in subject. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran, as we all know, is a book incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna. And it connects us, and this Srimad Bhagavatam connects us with the spiritual reality. It's like a bridge which connects from the material world to the spiritual world. Although the in total, the entire world is a spiritual world. Material world is just a part of the spiritual world. Just like we can say prison is a part of the city. It's not outside the city. It's still in the city, but in prison there are certain rules and regulations, and and people who are prisoners over there, they are suffering. So this material world is also a prison house in this entire spiritual world. And Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the key to just open the doors or locks of that prison house and just get out and achieve the highest spiritual realization, which is our lost connection with the Supreme, with Lord Shri Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, it has its glories, and its glories are immense. And every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is unique in its own way. First of all, Srimad Bhagavatam is unique in itself. And on top of that, each and every canto defines the glories of the Lord in its specific, unique way. When we go at the end of Canto 2nd, we will read that there are 10 topics which Srimad Bhagavatam is covering. And to my interest, when I was reading, I found that almost all the 10 topics are there in almost each of the canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is just not a book. It's Sri Krishna himself. And that's why devotees love Srimad Bhagavatam like their own life and soul and invest time and energy in that. And that's the reason why all of us just gather together every morning at this time and discuss the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is important. It's not like that this canto second is less important than canto 10. Because in every canto, Krishna is displaying his pastimes. Maybe in canto second, he's displaying his pastimes through material energy. And in canto 10, whatever he is performing, he's performing through his internal potency, his internal potency. So these all are the pastimes of Lord, and a devotee of Lord is interested in each and every pastime of the Lord. So that's why Srila Prabhupada always used to say, just do systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't jump on Canto 10 just to read the butter stealing activities or clothes stealing activities of Krishna. Just first of all, it's very important for all of us to understand about our Krishna, who is going to make personal appearance in Canto 10 and display his pastime. And at that time, when we just cross the journey of understanding 9 cantos, in our mind, it will be clear that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and anything is possible for him. And why he is doing what he is doing in Canto 10? Because he wants to charm his devotees with his wonderful activities, Adbhut Leela, or wonderful activities. So with this, let's just jump into this Canto second and today's verse. So Canto second, what we are reading, we know that 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 in the first 3 chapters, already Shukadev Goswami explained Maharaj Parikshit about different processes, right? His question was, Maharaj Parikshit's question was, what is the duty of a person who has to die, and what he should be doing and what he should not be doing? And to our interest, it's everybody here in this world. This is a mortal world. So every living entity who has taken birth in this material creation is going to die. And the definition of dying definition of dying also differs from person to person. Because if we go in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2nd, Krishna is explaining very nicely that there is no death. It's just the changing of cloth. Living entity just change the cloth. It's no death. It's just like this already this gross material body is dead matter. Because of the presence of living entity in this gross material body, this body is functioning. And when this living entity, along with the subtle body, wants to change another body, then we call it as a death. But in fact, there is no death for the soul. So what death Parikshit Maharaj is asking about? About the just ruination of this gross material body. And he is asking a very deep question, that what should a living entity do so that after leaving this gross material body, this living entity doesn't have to come back again. That's the deeper meaning of his question. What should we do? Otherwise, if we ask any mundane person, any person, he will say, okay, I have to just take care of my bank balance. I have to inform my wife where everything is because I'm dying in 7 days. But the thing is, we all are dying. But here Parikshit Maharaj has asked very important and deeper question. So my dear friends, here in chapter till chapter 3rd of Canto 2nd, having heard the informative elaborations on the yoga processes, Maharaj Parikshit, now in this chapter 4th, he is asking several other questions concerning the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the universes from Shukadev Goswami. And Shukadev Goswami, we will see in later verses, he is going to offer his prayers to the Lord and will respond to the questions of Parikshit Maharaj by using a conversation between Narad Muni and Brahma. We will read in further verses in this particular chapter. So in this particular verse, Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, and then Parikshit Maharaj is giving the explanation in verse 8 that, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Now, unless we accept inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning of God. What is the meaning of inconceivable? Inconceivable means that which we cannot understand. Whatever we cannot understand is simply beyond the scope of our mental speculation or material senses, right? That's why it's called inconceivable. And absolute truth, he possesses unlimited potencies. He has so many unlimited potencies. And what happened? The Vedas also indicate the existence of absolute truth and also indicates the unlimited powers of absolute truth, which is, as I said, beyond the range of material sense perception and mental speculation. So what happened? Absolute truth expand himself in the gross and subtle features of spiritual world and material world. There is no gross feature in spiritual world, but all these subtle features. And even in the material world, gross and subtle features, they are nothing but the expansions of the absolute truth. So, absolute truth or Krishna can be understood in various phases. Sri Jiva Goswami, in his Bhagavad Sandarbha, he describes that absolute truth by his potencies act in natural sequences beyond the scope of speculative human mind. And there Jiva Goswami also explains that the absolute truth, he appears himself, or it can be known in 4 ways. His personality, which is his personal form, is impersonal effulgence, and his impersonal effulgence is Brahman Jyoti. Particles of his potency, that means living entities, all we sparks are particles of his potency. And then principal cause of all causes, which is Paramatma, right? And there is a comparison also given there that supreme whole can be compared to the sun, and sun also exists in 4 features. And what are those 4 features? Personality of sun god, glare of his glowing sphere, that means impersonal effulgence, the sun rays inside the sun planet, or coming small molecules, they are just like living entities, and then sun's reflections in many other objects, that is Paramatma feature. Bhagavatam also describe in Canto 1, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate. In 3 forms, Lord, absolute truth can be realized. And everything which is the manifestation here, which we can see and which we cannot see is just the expansion of the Supreme Lord. As stated by Srila Sridhar Swami, Karayam Karanat Bhinnam Na Bhavati. He says the result is not different from its cause. Let me repeat. The result is not different from its cause. Therefore, since the absolute truth is eternally existing, this material world, because it is the potency of the absolute, must also be accepted as real. It's not unreal or it's not imaginary. Usually, when we go into other sects like Buddhist cult or Mayavadis, what they say? It's imaginary. This material world is false, is imaginary. But it's not false because it is coming from the material energy of the Lord. And Krishna himself is claiming this in 7th chapter. Devi Hesha Gunmai Mammaya Durattaya. Mam evye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. And also in 7th chapter itself, I think 7.4, he's saying that all these earth, water, fire, ether, they are my separated energy. So everything is Krishna and everything is various manifestations of that absolute truth. This material world we should understand it as the interactions of real elements. I was reading 11th canto, chapter 3rd, verse number 37. Srila Prabhupada has given a very wonderful purport, as always. This purport is excellent too. And Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned or given an example of a magician. He's saying when a magician performs his tricks on stage, right? So audience apparently sees it as an illusion, right? Sometimes he's going to take out rabbit from the hat, and sometimes he's going to just move his stick in the air, and a girl just suddenly appears, some tricks like that. So Srila Prabhupada, he is writing there that although the appearance of coming out rabbit out of the hat is an illusion, but still existence of rabbit and hat is real. That means hat and rabbit exist. So this material world also, everything which is existing here, all these 5 elements, everything, they are coming from the Lord. And they are right, they are true, they are not false. But whatever interactions are having here, they create illusion. And what are the interaction? Living entity, when interacts with this matter as a body, I keeps identifying himself under the illusion of false ego that I am a part and parcel of this material world, and start thinking that I am Indian, I am American, I am Russian, I am Russian, I am black, and thus, what's happening? Every living entity just get bewildered by the energies of the Lord. Why? Because energies of the Lord is inconceivable. It's bewildering. And it's not just bewildering for living entities like us, because we have very tiny little bit of intelligence as compared to other living entities who are in the upper planetary system. Let's take the example of Brahma, whose body is made up of this intelligent material, right? This Brahma, he is in Canto 10, chapter 14, he is praying to Krishna. Prayers of Brahma, an exclusive chapter, very wonderful. I recommend everyone to read that. So he is explaining his incompetency to understand the inconceivable potencies of the Lord, because Brahma wanted to trick Krishna by stealing his cows and calves, and by just wanting to test him. But what happened? Brahma, he himself get bewildered when he saw that Krishna is playing with the same set of boys and calves, although he stole them. And Brahma got bewildered. And to his surprise, he saw that there were so many Vishnus, so many Vishnus, and he got bewildered. What is happening? And not that, on top of that, Krishna invited all the Brahmas from different universes, and all the Brahmas was one Brahma had like 1,000 heads, the other Brahma had 80,000 heads, for example, and he got bewildered. What is happening? And at that time, he composed these prayers that those who claim that they understand you, they are they don't know what they are talking about. Because I can admit right now that I don't understand your inconceivable potencies. Your potencies are unlimited, and so that nobody understand your potencies, or nobody um, will be able to ever understand your inconceivable potencies. So these are the statements of Brahma itself. So what to talk about scientists or researchers, or all those people who just don't want to even research in this field and claim that, okay, there is no God existing, because they don't have the power in their brain to analyze this peculiar topic of existence of God. They just leave it, or they might search it. They might do some research and just stop by the laws of nature. Okay, Mother Nature is the ultimate authority, and that's what they stop there, because they are imperfect. We have four imperfections, right? We have four defects, as they say. We have four defects according to scriptures, and scriptures are telling us this. We have imperfect senses. We cannot see beyond certain range. So what to talk about the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our scope of mental speculation? Srila Prabhupada often in his lectures and also in his purport explained about Dr. Frog. He says that a frog who is living in a small pond, if we talk to him about a vast ocean, he is going to say, no, no, no. How deep the ocean is? Maybe 10 miles? Oh, not that. Maybe 20 miles? And if you say, no, thousands of miles, and then he's like, no, that kind of thing doesn't even exist, because he does not have the experience of that vast ocean. So similarly, like a frog, when we read when we read scriptures and we read about the wonderful activities of Krishna, and in this chapter is process of creation. When we read about the process of creation, that how there was a cloud just form in a spiritual world little bit on the side, and then Pradhana comes, and then Lord glances over it, and how this universe began. We just think, really, is it possible? And when there is the description of Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshai Vishnu, which is going to come in Canto's third, we think, really, is this possible? Because it's not possible, because it is beyond our experience. And sometimes I even heard that, people say, okay, because you have to make your point, so that's why you are giving all these examples. Let's not just take the example, let's take the practicality, or let's take what we are experiencing. Let's take an example of, say, a moth or a small insect. Life of an insect, some insects are just for few hours. They just grow and they just live for few minutes and they die. And if you tell that insect, there is a human being whose life is approximately 100 years, that insect is going to say, come on, what mythological thing you are talking to me? It's not possible. So for that insect, life of human being is something inconceivable. And for us, life of Brahma is inconceivable, that he is living billions and billions of years. It's completely inconceivable. And similarly, on the similar grounds, authority of Lord and powers of Lord and what Krishna is doing, how he is expanding himself as material world and spiritual world is unconceivable from our mind. As I said, we have 4 defects, and these defects have been given to us by scriptures. Imperfect senses, illusion. We are all the time in illusion because we are covered by false ego. And how this false ego comes? Because I wanted to enjoy just like Krishna, separately from him. That's why Krishna has given us this material creation. Go and enjoy here. But this material world is also a chance for a living entity to come back or to go back into the city, because this is a prison house as I started. So this is a city. Go out of this prison, live in the city with your family. And what is this family? Family life which we live. Srila Prabhupada, in one of the purports in I think Canto 11 itself, he is mentioning that, every living entity has the option to join the Lord in his opulent eternal kingdom. And what this mundane concept of family life is nothing but just a perverted reflection of the happy situation created when Lord is united in full spiritual opulence with his pure devotees. When we go back in Goloka Vrindavan, we don't have to become a sannyasi. We don't have to leave everything. We have to just unite with Krishna as his family member. And that's what is happening. So this entire cosmic situation is the natural potency of the absolute truth explained as explained by Srila Jeev Goswami in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. So this infinite multicolored opulence of the kingdom of God is non-different from the Lord himself. So that's the point here, that Krishna, he is non-different of what we can see. Everything is the manifestation of his energy, his unparalleled opulence. But who can understand his unparalleled opulence? We are saying nobody can understand because we have defects in ourselves. We cannot understand anything. And Krishna, in 10.42 Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, Arjun, what is the need after explaining his vibhutis or opulences in the entire 10th chapter? Krishna is saying, Arjuna, what is the need of understanding about this detailed knowledge? What is the need? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. What single fragment Krishna is talking about there? Mahavishnu. With a single fragment of myself. Krishna is saying this Mahavishnu is just a single fragment of me. I pervade and support the entire universe. When we read about the size of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Canto 2nd, Canto 3rd, it's mind-boggling. We cannot even comprehend that somebody like this exists. Mahavishnu has thousands of Karanodakshai Vishnu has thousands and thousands of hands. And Krishna is explaining, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that that single fragment is Karanodakshai Vishnu is talking about. So it's very difficult for any one of us to understand. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada has given a very wonderful last line of this purport, that who can understand? Who can understand the power of inconceivable potencies of Lord? Only a devotee who is learning through the chain of disciplic succession. Although this subject matter is difficult, beyond our mental speculation, but it can be learned by those devotees of the Lord to whom Krishna has revealed himself. Interestingly, on Radha Ashtami Day, I was reading that Krishna's potencies are so immense that even Lord Krishna himself, he doesn't even know him completely. So that's why, in order to understand what his pleasure potency Srimati Radharani is experiencing, he has to come back as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani so that he can understand that love. So Krishna cannot understand, and love is nothing separated from Krishna. Everything is Krishna. So because everything is manifestation of his energy. And we know that energy is not different from energetic. So as I started this discussion with 4 aspects as given to us by Jiva Goswami. So I was saying that, yes, who can understand? Only that who is learning through the chain of disciplic succession. This chain of disciplic succession is very important. And each and every word in the purports of Srila Prabhupada, he has explained or he has written very cautiously. Chain of disciplic succession. What is a chain? Chain in which the same type of metal or same type of size is repeated. Like this chain, the same type of pearl is repeated, maybe different color, but the same size is repeated to make it uniform. So this chain is coming from Lord Krishna himself, the original message. And this original message is coming through the disciplic succession, and the same message has been given to the devotees who are taking it in the disciplic succession. And it is coming without distortion. But if distortion happen, then the message change completely. So the guru or the spiritual master should be Kshotriya Brahmanist, as they say, Kshotriya Brahmanist, who has himself heard from the authorities, Brahmanist, and who has faith in the authority and who has faith in the supreme person. That person is eligible to become guru, who is coming from the authority. And Lord Krishna, he himself mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya upadekshayanti jnanam te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. That those people are tattvadarshina. They know truth about me. They actually know about me. So when we go, when we surrender ourselves in front of a spiritual master who is coming in a disciplic succession, at that time, we, with the ingredient of faith, when we learn and we start realizing and we practice, we do our bhajan kriya and anartha nritti happens, then at that time, our ruchi starts. That time we start understanding, and Krishna start revealing himself to his devotees, as is given in this purport, that Maharaj Parikshit, he knew that Krishna is the only one who create, maintain, and annihilate. And we can see his question or this purport or this translation. Parikshit Maharaj is explaining that he is the person who is responsible for creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Just like fire expands its potency of heat, right? And so the logical statements and authoritative statements which our spiritual master gives to us, then we can observe the effect of that, and then we understand. Srila Jiva Goswami explained that one can understand the power of a valuable gem not by the logical statements, right? Not by logical statement I can prove that this is a gem. Only when we observe that gem, the effect of that gem, we can realize by observing that this gem is so valuable. Similarly, we can understand the potency of God or Krishna by observing its power to achieve a particular effect. And such potency then will not depend on the so-called logic. We will not require any kind of logical statements to prove the inconceivable potency of the Lord. And Jeev Goswami is giving a very, very important, a very nice example to make his statement more clear, that there is no logical necessity for the existence of a tree in a seed, right? There is no logic required that this seed will become a tree. Once we start nourishing that seed, what happened? The seed's potency, a tree, just expand itself into a tree. So similarly, such expansion, as I said, the potency of jewel or potency of Lord can only be realized by us by the logical statements or the authoritative statements or the jnana given to us by the spiritual master or somebody who is coming in the disciplic succession. So what happened? This conditioned soul, his consciousness gets purified through the process of devotional service. Through the process of devotional service, it gets purified by continuous hearing, by accepting a spiritual master, by following the rules and regulation. And that time, ocean of mercy, Sri Krishna, he revealed himself to his devotees. He revealed himself that, what he can do. And residents of Vrindavan, who are topmost as the pure devotees of the Lord, even after Krishna revealed his Aishwarya Shakti or inconceivable potencies to them, they try to reject Krishna as Lord and accept Krishna as his own child or lover or friend, like that. That position comes. It's far off, but it can be, this position can be something which we can think of. So by following the process, by following the Vedi Bhakti or devotional service, by performing rules and regulations, what happened? We can step up to the Raganuga Bhakti, which is explained by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Follow the steps of the pure devotees of the Lord. So at that time, the inconceivable powers of the Lord will not bewilder us, because we think, Krishna, we know, he can just create a banyan tree from such a small seed. So there is no, there is no problem for him for creating this material universe. So I'm going to end with a little story here, very little story. And the story is that, cobbler and priest. The cobbler had faith, but the priest did not have that much faith. And when cobbler got to know that Krishna is threading elephant from the needle, at that time, cobbler he had faith and he started jumping. And Narad Muni asked, really, you have faith? And he said, yes. When a small seed can produce such a big tree, then how can you say that Krishna cannot thread elephant from the needle? So with that, I'm going to stop here. And thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam this morning. And I wish all of you a very Krishna conscious day. May all of your days, all of your day to day fill up with devotional service of Lord. And at least we can remember Krishna 24/7. And if I made any mistakes, any corrections at this time, please correct me. And please bless me that I keep continuing my service, because without the blessings of devotees, nothing can happen. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Mangala Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. If anyone has any question, comment, or anything, otherwise we can. Okay. We can. Thank you so much. Yeah, Nitya Gopal Prabhu, do you have question? Oh, no, I think this is something else. No, you did not raise your hands. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If nobody has any comment, questions, corrections, so we can end this call right now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for joining the class today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Vancha kapatarubhyasya kripasinubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol.